And he asked if star nations would not only contribute all different kinds of life to the Earth plane, but would the older civilizations like from Lyra and Arcturus and the Andromeda galaxy, please send their people. Could some volunteers come forward and inhabit this Earth plane and bring it into being the planet that she is today? And so, in a biblical sense, that's what happened, and many people answered the call, and a long time ago, and came here to Earth, and they were all from different star nations, and that includes our local planets too: Mars, Pluto, Uranus, Saturn. They all had people too. A lot of times when our ships go out and are exploring, like they are right now in the outer reaches of our galaxy and on Mars, they don't find everything on the surface. A lot of life is multidimensional. It vibrates too high for us to see the frequency of what's really there. But there are people there. There are a lot of things going on the interior of all the planets. A lot of planets act almost like a womb, and there's life on the inside. This has never occurred to our scientists that this could be a possibility, that there could be multidimensional layers of life, which there are, vibrating at higher frequencies, which they do, but there is life there. Whether we detect life on a planet or not really does. We go there and we see nothing, but I tell you, there is everything on all these stars and all these planets, whether we just zoom right by or whether we actually pick up anything or not. We don't have the instrumentation to know about the life. There is so much life out there on so many different levels, and most of the life in the universe, their thing is to leave each other alone, live in peace, but it was not always this way. There was a great war in the heavens, and it did devastate the surfaces of a lot of planets just in our solar system. There was a Darth Vader type of guy. Everything that you saw in Star Wars is so close to the truth that you would not believe, but that there were weapons of mass destruction that we can't even conceive. There, out of all this chaos a long time ago, did come a great federation, a great joining together of all the stars that wanted peace. Nobody wanted to be ostracized from this group, and it's that way today. Nobody wants to be Cuba. Nobody wants to be banned from the Federation of Planets, which exists throughout the universe. So this is one point I wanted to make, that there is great order in our universe, and that all the stars that trade with each other, all the galaxies that have ambassadors that go out and do seek, and in the meaning of brotherhood, who do seek each other out, belong to this federation so that they can trade and know each other. There's music out there in other star systems that you would not believe, that some of the musicians today are being able to hear. There are some musicians on the Earth plane that are so psychic that they can pull in the radio stations of the universe and hear what music is coming from those stars as well. So when we say star nations, we mean that this is a big, big thing for us to wrap our heads around. It's a big thing for us to wrap around. First, we have to establish in our own hearts and our own minds that there is life out there. It's absolutely ridiculous for any of us to ever think that we're the only ones here on planet Earth. It's about the stupidest thing I've ever heard. There's so much life out there and so much going on. And the reason they just don't come to here to us is because this planet is wrapped in an envelope right now, and the Federation has asked all star nations to leave us alone so that they can see what's going to happen. They're not going to come here as long as we cannot even open our front door to our next door neighbor and say hello. As long as we are at war on this planet, not only can we not join the star federations of our universe, But they will not expose themselves or try to help us in any way, because we have to prove that we have risen to the fifth dimensional status of this point in the universe where we can join their club of light, which promotes unconditional love, and we can belong to their neighborhood without causing any trouble. And we have caused a lot of trouble here on the earth plane. The reason that all the UFOs showed up after Nagasaki is because they found out that we had discovered nuclear power, and that we had it within our capability to blow holes in the fabric of the universe. And now we have become an infection. Instead of adding to the good of the whole, Earth had the power to develop these weapons and take away from the goodness of the rest of the universe. So everybody from Lyra from Andromeda, from Arcturus, they all sent their people here to find out why we're making all these noise and all these bombs. And how far is it going to go? How irresponsible can we be here on planet Earth? When we show that we can have some responsibility, then we will have first contact with our brothers from the stars, and they will come here. I want to, more than anything, I want to share this one thing that happened to me in Sedona, Arizona, this time last year. I was in Sedona. The thing that I noticed was that there were stars moving in the sky every night. There were points of light, all types of UFO activity everywhere you looked, whether you had glasses, wore glasses, or didn't wear glasses, whether you had binoculars or telescopes, or you just looked with your naked eye. No matter where you looked, there were UFOs everywhere that were not, they weren't planes flying in a straight line. They weren't helicopters or balloons, but they just looked highly suspicious. And I stood in Sedona during the middle of the night, and I asked Spirit, I said, why are all these UFO people here in this area, in this particular vortex? They said the reason that they're all here is because they have relatives here in Arizona. And that made perfect sense to me. The star nations that show up from where you're from, they have people here checking on you and saying hello from wherever it is you're from. Nobody on Earth is from Earth. Everybody on Earth is connected to another planet, another star in this universe, and you are visiting, and Mother Earth is hosting, and you're a visitor here. And at some point in our progression as, let me stand up for just a second. At some point, excuse me, I'm sorry. At some point in our journey here on planet Earth, we will have to come to peace with the fact that we are not earthbound. How many times have you looked at a life form on this earth, like a cow or a horse or a cat or a dog, and thought to yourself, it doesn't look, they don't look like an earth creature? How many times have you seen a fish or a biological life form that glows at night? And you're thinking, these don't look like earthbound creatures. Just the cats alone are so mysterious and so spacey and so star-like that it's almost like another civilization is looking through the cat and observing us here on Earth. What happened is that the source of all creation, the clarion call was, would each star nation please contribute life from wherever you're from to planet Earth. Planet Earth was the grand experiment. So all star nations contributed life, plus the people that were there, and all the animals and the species that were there. Have you ever really looked at a horse? A horse. Does a horse even look like something from the earth plane? Does a cat, and the way that a cat moves, and you know how cats and babies kind of sit and stare out into the void, and we just wonder what they're looking at, and they've all got that vision. So I'm kind of rambling here, but let me bring it to a point. None of us are from here. None of us got here on our own, and we all somehow qualified to come to Earth, to this beautiful place, have a body, and experience all these things that you can only experience with a body on your journey. Our journey here is so special. It's kind of like we've been invited to a special mall, like a special mall in the universe where all of our friends hang out. Many of us know each other. We've got friends in Europe that we've spent other lifetimes with, in Australia and Greenland, and all over the world, in China and Russia. We are all really one people and one species from countless different places. One way you can always tell that you've had lifetimes in other places, so just to give you an idea, if you see a place like Hawaii on TV and you feel real passionate that you need to go there, and you've got this drive to go to Hawaii, and you spend the next 20 or 30 years feeding that information, there's a good chance that you spent time there in other lifetimes, a lot of time. If you feel that way about any other place in the world, Australia, Russia, China, Europe, any place, South America, the Caribbean, any of those places, your soul has been there before. And so it's the same way with the stars. Someday on your journey, if you already haven't had this experience, you will look up at the stars and you will say to yourself, oh God, who am I really? Where am I really from? And why am I so fascinated with everything that is off this planet and away from this planet, not even connected to this planet? The reason is because you have your roots in the stars, wherever you're from, whatever you feel passionate about. This is why shows like Star Trek and the new Star Trek movies that are starting to come out now by J.J. Abrams. Steven Spielberg brought us Close Encounters and E.T. In such a loving way. And George Lucas brought us the Star Wars series, and those are all over the top, but that's their contribution to trying to understand the universe and trying to understand the life in the universe. If you've ever had the feeling that we are being observed, that's true, we are. Have you ever had the feeling that only part of you is here? That's true, because the greater part of you is not. There is an observer beyond yourself that you left behind wherever it is you're from. Could we have star parents? Yes, we could. Is it possible that we have star parents, that we have another civilization that we're connected to where we're really from? Is this really home here on Earth? No, it is not. If this is really home here on Earth, not really. Does it keep us from feeling grounded a lot of times? Yes, it keeps us from feeling grounded. This is the great thing about the Star Wars series, because George Lucas got us all thinking about the possibility of wars in the heavens, creatures from other planets in crazy bars drinking crazy kinds of ales with smoke coming out of the top of them, and it really stirs our imagination. In Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when Steven Spielberg brings this ship over the top of that mountain in Idaho or wherever that is, and the ramp lowers and the beings come down, and we have first contact, and Richard Dreyfuss was chosen to be the one from humanity to come and represent humanity, and they take off with him. This is the genius of Steven Spielberg. So, he didn't want to make a movie about us being at war with the rest of the universe, or that the little green men were going to come down and take us all away and blast us all with their razors, with their lasers. Well, I think that more than anything, we have started to have this fascination that we look up into the nighttime sky and we wonder who we are and where we came from. And that information is in our DNA. And one day it will come forward. One day in your journey, you will know who you are and where you came from, and that information will somehow slip into your consciousness, and you'll be forever changed from that day forward. You'll never be the same again, and you'll want to know everything that you can possibly know. Some of the apps that you can get for your iPhone and for the Android phones show all the different constellations in the universe. They show where you are. They show all the different planets and where they are. They show the International Space Station and the Hubble, where the Hubble telescope is, spinning in the night sky. The galactic light that is spread now across this universe has reached us. There's a light permeating the Earth plane from so much love coming from the different stars and the the star nations want us to succeed and make this crossing over this threshold into the fifth dimension so that the Earth plane can ascend and join the galactic community with the rest of the universe. That's what they really want. And so when you in your starry self, when you become intrigued and you're full of passion about one day saying, "Dear God, please tell me who I am and please tell me where I'm from," that day the door will be forever opened, and Spirit will give you a little bit of information at a time, and you will take that into, by osmosis, you'll get it. You'll know who you are, where you're from, and why you're here. Are there any questions?
Steven Spielberg, was he not sent a letter by the military discouraging him from making Close Encounters of the Third Kind? That's what I have just read. It's new information. I don't know if you had heard it or not, but I had read that he was told not to make the movie, and he made it anyway.
He made it at his own peril, actually. There is an element in this world that doesn't want any of this information disclosed, because there's a lot of people in power here on Earth, and the more freedom you have and the more you know about who you are, where you came from, the less power that they have on the other side. I hate this cops and robbers thing about us and the Illuminati and all the bad guys trying to get us, because we've already won this battle of light. We've already won. We crossed over that threshold in 1986 on August 16th during the harmonic convergence. We tipped the scales with light here on planet Earth, and things have not been the same since.
I have another question. I'm sorry. About the, are you familiar with Tolek and his story of the light forces, and particularly the Andromedans, helping us clear out the underground nuclear bases, the deep underground, or the dumb bases underground, in 2011, August of 2011, in Colorado and Virginia?
No, I'm sorry, I don't know about that.
Okay, sorry.
One thing that intrigues me, I think that in our lifetime we will see first contact here on planet Earth, and I think in our lifetime they will. I think it's quite amusing for all the star nations in the. I think that they hear all of our music. I think that they watch old episodes of My Favorite Martian, and I really do think that they really cherish the Star Trek series, and they love watching us make our evolutionary leap, so that we can actually one day join the cosmic neighborhood. What I'm talking to you about with the Star Nations today is mostly just common sense. It's common sense that there's life evolved millions and billions of years beyond the human experience in this universe, that is leaving well enough alone to see what will happen here on planet Earth. Because there's an edict. The Galactic Federation of Planets, the #1 rule At the very top of the list is no interference. Please do not interfere in the evolutionary plan of all life systems in this universe unless it's to keep them from doing harm. If we can't behave ourselves and we have to explode all these bombs and bring great harm and infection to the neighborhood, then of course they're going to come here and do something about it. Other than that, they'll try to leave well enough alone. Will they stop us from annihilating each other? I think that they've already done that many times. That we've got people that would have pressed that button. I'm amazed that Bush did not press the button. You know, that we're still here and out of that Third World War. And there's many times when it's been poised, and I just think that our light neighbors have helped us in many ways. The thing about this whole Star Nation thing is, one day, whether you want to or not, no matter what path you are on, you're going to find out who you are, and that it doesn't have a whole lot to do with planet Earth, but it has to do with some place in this universe where you hail from, where your journey began, you know, and where you're headed back to. And we're lucky to have this experience, that they have the Earth School that we can come to and learn more about loving ourselves and loving all life, and having an understanding of that all life, that they have their place in this universe too. And that everybody that's here, including the dolphins and whales, they're from Lyra. You know, there are different species that are not earthbound at all. The dolphin species have not always been in the water. The whale species has not always been a water species. They have their own trajectory, their own history, their own solar history, and they have another planetary history that's not even attached to planet Earth. So there are many species here on Earth who they have their galactic neighborhoods that they're from too. So when you start thinking out of the box, you can see that there is great order in this universe. Nothing is left to chance. There is no accident or happenstance or mistake or something that just happened to happen. There is a grand design in the evolvement of not only the entire universe, but the Earth. Everything here on Earth is kind of like, there are these multi-levels of angels, and the elemental kingdom is here to assist all plant life and everything in the sea and everything on the land. There's all kinds of gnomes and fairies and dwarves and elves and water sprites that are taking care of the plants and watching over the babies and the children, and taking care of the trees and making sure the grass grows right. Everything is being helped to have its highest evolutionary aspect on all planes of existence at all times. Everything is helped to having its own evolutionary path boosted by all the stewards of life. We have many stewards of life here on Earth, and we are stewards of planet Earth. We're supposed to be. It's kind of embarrassing what we have done, mankind has done, but we're starting to right our ways, and we're starting to see that we can be responsible caretakers of life if left to our own device. And so our talk on Star Nations today is about us joining the galactic neighborhood, not as a threat, but as friends, and that we would be welcomed, just like on Close Encounters, that we would be welcomed into the galactic night, that we can join the rest of our Star Nation friends, find out who we all are individually and collectively, or where we're from, and what our real purpose is here. And when you find out personally what an honor it has been for Source or the universe or whoever allowed you to come down here and have this Earth experience, so that you could be a part and contribute your part to life and to having children and showing love, you'll realize that the grandness of the scale of this project is beyond the imagination. The grandness of the scale of Project Earth and humanity is beyond our imagination, because it's too big for us to wrap our heads around it as a species. We can't really get it. So we have to rise up above. We kind of have to be like a forest ranger and climb up that real tall tower so that we can see out over the whole forest of life here in the universe. Rest assured that there is more life than we can ever imagine. They're not traveling around in old clunky metal old ships with great big buttons and wires hanging down. That's not it at all. They move from place to place in ships of light in incredible speeds from dimension to dimension. This is not, by the way, the only universe. There are many others besides this one. So however big that you can think, however much you can wrap your head around all of this, it goes even further than that. It goes even further than we can imagine. Now, I'm going to kind of expose myself just a little bit here. My house where I live, there is a huge mothership that hangs over my house from Arcturus. It's an Arcturian ship. They have a great sense of humor. I must have something to do with Arcturus because this ship is hanging around, and maybe that's where I'm from. I'm not really sure. I go out in my backyard and stand next to my pool, and sometimes I feel their presence there, and sometimes I don't. There's been times when I've heard music coming from the bridge of this, and this ship is so big that it not only covers my neighborhood, but it goes as far as there are many ships here in other dimensions from different planetary systems that are watching over us right now to help us in this ascension and to help us over the next 50, 100 years make this move, this quantum jump into light. They're not only from Arcturus, but they're from many other planetary systems as well, from Orion, from Lyra, from the Pleiades, and I'm sorry, for where? Sirius B. Sirius B. Andromeda, thank you. Yes.
What would you call like a being from the great central sun? What is that?
I have read many times about the beings from the great central sun, and that's not our sun, but the great central sun is at the center of our universe, right? The Elohim, are they from the great central sun?
Is the name of the great central sun Alcyone? Or Alcyone?
Alcyone, that's the star heart of the Pleiades constellation.
Okay. I'm confused.
That one's beyond me.
Do you know anything of the great lion beings of the legendary Nrsimhadev in the Hindi?
The lion beings, they have something to do with Sirius, because when Egypt was after Atlantis fell, and there were people who came from Atlantis and went to Egypt, and throughout the archaeologists are always finding all these lion statues and all these lion carvings inside all of the temple. They say that there's a great lion species in our universe that's billions of years older than we are, and they're capable of star travel, and they're known for their greatness and for their dignity, and they're just unbelievable presence. And so many people think that the cats, big and small here on planet Earth, were left here as ambassadors and representatives of the feline species across the universe. So people that relate to cats, they kind of have a bonding with this type of energy that we're talking about. And there have been books written about these feline beings, and they're tall and they're big, and they're quite capable of star travel, and they've come here to Earth and at different times to help us in our evolution. Isn't that right?
Yes, in Egypt, and then I'm very interested in the Vedic record of Nrsimhadev, who ripped the entrails from the greedy Hiranyakasipu and smote him. and they're allegedly very righteous beings, very
dignified.
Dignified.
Yeah.
Oh, dignified. opportunity.
So the Sphinx looks like a big lion, right? The Sphinx, and so there's a
That was a lioness originally.
yeah, it was a lion. Was
The head is actually smaller than the proportion of the body, so it really was a lioness from the very beginning.
it was a lioness in the very beginning. What I think is that we are on the verge of finding out who we are, and when the cat gets out of the bag and the shit hits the fan, I'm telling you, folks, there's a history here on planet Earth that's about to be exposed, and when everybody starts to really find out who they are, that and where we really came from, and the real true history of Earth is suppressed, and has always been, the lie has always been perpetrated, but the truth, she's really patient, and she's always rising and always surfacing all over the world, and the truth will be known about our true history here on planet Earth, and one day I really believe that we will all know who our star brothers and sisters are. We'll know who we are and where we're from, and why we came here, and for what reason. And if you've ever gone out and stared up at the night sky and wondered about these things, and it starts to come into your heart, and you start to feel that your journey, that you're on a star journey as well as an earth journey, that you have a cosmology in your genealogy that has to do with the stars. And it's always going to pull at you. The truth is very patient, but no matter how long it takes, whether it's this lifetime or 10 lifetimes from now, your soul will eventually bring all this knowledge forward into your being. You'll get a rush, and you'll go, oh, cool. And you'll go, oh, there's really more to this than you can possibly, that we can ever imagine. And so when we see things like, eventually you'll know about that this universe was at war with itself, a war so great that it scorched the surface of all the planets in our known galaxy. When we get there, there's nothing but dust and rubble, and that happened in a way in an unimaginable way, by people who wanted this territory, very much so, and wanted planet Earth too. So then there came a time when the light forces swept across this universe and put the rednecks back where they belong and established peace here in our galaxy, in a way that we could all live, happily ever after, is what that's really a good way to put it, because you cannot go out and just take everything from everybody and establish the whole universe as your own. You have to let everybody go their own way, into their own systems, and have their own life on their own star. And the main thing about the universe is learning to mind your own business, and leave everybody alone long enough that they too can find happiness. They can find their own way, whether it's here on planet Earth or Mars or any other place that's out there that is full of light. We wanted to talk about the star nations today. I know it sounds airy-fairy, but the more that you investigate it, the more it has to do with common sense. It would only make sense that there is a galactic federation that all the planets belong to, and that there is great order in the universe. It would only make sense that the number one rule, the number one edict across the whole universe is that no interference. That all the light guys that travel in the ships and do all their explorations around the universe cannot interfere with the evolution of life. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should.
Gene Roddenberry, when he came up with the Prime Directive for Star Trek, he didn't come up with that by happenstance.
No, I don't think so. He was a true, he witnessed all this and then brought it forward. I just think he was a conduit for universal knowledge, and for, if Star Trek just looks like fantasy to you, it has already become a reality. We are already on our way off this planet, and in fact, there's no telling what's already really happened, because the government won't let us know. We wouldn't know if we went to another planet or had been to the moon and back with a bunch of people and built houses up there. Everything's so secret, and we're so uninformed.
We're paying for it, though.
Yeah, we're paying for it on so many levels. Another point I wanted to keep bringing up today is that something inside of you will push you forward constantly on your path to find out who you are, where you're from. And when you find out that it doesn't have anything to do with planet Earth, that might make you a little bit nervous. But you're going to be intrigued and become very passionate about the rest of this universe, because there's a lot going on. We're kind of busy, and we have our own little drama here on Earth. We have our own little soap opera. But out in the rest of the universe, it gets real simple, and everybody's real happy. And manifestation takes place instantaneously on other levels. They think it, and it appears. And that's where they're at. And they found peace. They know that there is only oneness, not only in this universe, but the pan-dimensional, all universes. They know that love, this bonding agent in the universe, is the only really driving, accepting force that really brings us all together and makes it kind of understood that unless we achieve this goal, then we're not going to. You'll never go anywhere faster than your own love will take you. You will never go anywhere faster than your own love will take you. So you can look at love as your vehicle. And you can look at love. It is love that will come to you and say, look, I know you love this earth place, but there's more. And we want you to know more, and it's time for you to know more. Let's know more. And so let's pull back the veil and open the door and step on through. Jim Morrison wrote a song one time called Break On Through to the Other Side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through. Break on through. It was night turns into night. Day turns into day, something like that. Anyway, it gives you an idea, when you break on through to the other side and you open this door and you move the veil and you separate it and you move into these other realms, you start to realize color and vibration and music. And there's so much to know, and it's so exciting. And what is it? This is why the crystals are so popular right now, because they offer the gateway to those other realms. A crystal will take you into those other realms beyond time and space, so that you can come to understand that that's what this universe is. It's a great big crystal.
The Doors have a song called The Crystal Chip.
I'm sorry?
The Doors have a song called The Crystal Chip, too.
Oh, yeah. Right, thank you. The Doors, yeah.
Our DNA?
Huh?
Did you talk about our DNA? Our 12 strands?
Yes. Everything that we know, or even what we think we know, comes from within. And sometimes these things in books or a speaker or a tape or a conference will kind of open you up and spark to you about, but most of this stuff you already know. And so your knowledge is released in spurts from your DNA and comes from within you. And that's why they say that all knowledge comes from within. Your star history about who you are and where you came from is also inside your DNA. These bodies that we have from lifetime to lifetime don't matter very much. What we think about this, that, and the other doesn't matter very much either. What does matter is the love. It is love that opens up and fires the codes within your DNA and allows you to either know something or not know it. And you will know things from lifetime to lifetime according to your own love. And so as your own DNA brings these things through your blood and into your conscious awareness, you will start to be empowered, and you'll start to wonder who you are and where you're from. And those days are fasting approach. Many of us are already on that ship. We've already gained momentum into a kind of knowingness. What I'm talking about today with Star Nations isn't really stuff you can teach, because it comes from within, and all of a sudden you'll just know it. And it won't be because anybody told you. It'll be because your DNA released it into your bloodstream. Your whole history, everything you know, every person that you've been, and everything is locked inside your DNA.
In the junk DNA?
In that junk DNA, my ass.
Right.
There's
it's
no
not
junk DNA. There is no junk DNA.
That's what they call it.
And then there's these 5 other chakras above your crown chakra. They're opening up too and allowing the celestial, galactic, universal information to pour down through your body, open up your heart, and step onto this path where you can find out these things that I speak of today. I'm very interested in the fact that I don't know everything. I'm real interested in that. You don't want to know. You don't want to be in the know. You want to be in the mystery. Be in the mystery of this, because being in the mystery will take you into a certain knowingness that will forever change your outlook on life and change the person that you are. If you stay in the mystery of it, you'll always be excited. You will start to learn more, and when you learn more, you teach others. And it's by osmosis that we were all lifted up together in the one heart, or the one love that Bob Marley was always talking about. One love, let's get together and feel all right. The Rasta, the Bob Marley thing, him and John Lennon, they were right. They were right. You know, it is the love that brings you to all points, at all places, and at all times. Are there any other questions?
Well, why do you think was there a period earlier, you think, Michael, where we had that knowledge? And why would it be suppressed now, like where we are? I guess, was there a period of time like these ancient civilizations that obviously had more of their DNA knowledge?
There were, and there was a great battle here on planet Earth, too, between Lemuria and Atlantis that was so devastating. Atlantis was almost responsible for the annihilation of the entire planet. And so that was called the fall of man, and it took a long time after the fall of man to come back up out of the mud, you know, to where we could at least have fire. That's exactly what happened. Huh?
Have we been in lockdown?
We've been in lockdown for a long time.
Quarantine.
Yeah, in quarantine. Yeah, we don't even know what crystals will do, and we used to know everything about crystals, and we're just now finding out, because knowledge is power, and we proved that we cannot be responsible. Nagasaki proved that we cannot be responsible. Hiroshima proved that we are irresponsible, and we have to be watched over like children playing with matches. And that's why all the UFO people are here right now. They want to make sure that we don't cause any more trouble and that we don't infect the rest of the universe.
So it was after Atlantis and Lemuria fought? You think that was a...
Absolutely. Game changer for planet Earth, yeah.
I have one other comment, and then I'll shut up, I promise. Sophia, Gaia, Terra, this planet, Earth, is a living being, and I have read that she is a heart-centered, heart chakra-centered planet, and because of that, all the beings on this planet are heart-centered by osmosis. So we are heart-centered beings originally, and it seems like this lifting, this ascension that you're speaking of, is heart-centered, and is the other reference in my workshop. Someone asked, "What do you know about the Arcturians?" The Arcturians, are they not the spiritual and emotional healers that are coming now to help us be lifted in our heart chakras so we can stop this behavior?
The Arcturians are the badasses of the universe. Nobody will mess with them. Everywhere they go, they protect everybody everywhere that they go. And they're the oldest civilization, and they're called a civilization of light. And all of our geometry and our advanced mathematics, everything that we know about, a lot of it has come from Arcturus. The Arcturian influence has yet to be understood here on Earth, if I'm answering your question correctly.
I've also read like Jesus was Arcturian.
I wouldn't.
Do you know anything about
No, I don't. I wouldn't know about that. I love Jesus. I don't know anything about specifically where he's from, but I do know that Arcturus is. They keep peace in our universe by their presence. So the guys that used to start trouble, well, they won't do it as long as they're around.
Yeah, it's kind of a follow on to what you were saying about them being badasses. Would you say that their presence is a physical or nearly physical counterbalance to
Yes.
the presence of the Dracos?
Yes, to the reptilian energy and to the Orion energy, the Zeta Reticuli, and the people that have caused trouble in the universe can no longer do so because of these people from Arcturus are so advanced that it's almost laughable that nobody comes anywhere near them, and they have become the absolute protectors of Earth. They're protecting us long enough so we can find out who we are and make our way into the rest of the universe. That's been my understanding about them. So it's a civilization of light so advanced that they've already been through the spiral of evolution in the Milky Way galaxy to the center, into the black hole, and out again. There's a complete evolution that you can get, and you can go through that. I think I've.
One last question.
Yes.
So there are galactic rednecks?
Yes.
No, seriously. You know, there's a lot of movies that have come out in the last 10, 20 years.
Yes, I know.
Avatar, Star Wars, Star Trek, and everything,
Right.
so far ahead of their time. Do you think that the directors or screenwriters, how are they getting this information, these ideas? Are they channeling this?
James Cameron is a genius, and he's just aware, like Steven Spielberg, of life on all stars and all planets, and he's brilliant. There's never been anybody like him, and whether it's The Abyss or Avatar, or he's just like Spielberg. He's really out there, you know, and George Dreyfus, Lucas. Yeah, you can't leave him out either.
Good job.
I've had a great time. Thank you all. Thank you. Namaste.